this woman, I don't think is going to have any issue ever getting baby trapped.
Okay.
I, 32 female, told my husband's 34 male family he wasn't attracted to me after giving birth to our first child due to my weight gain. Asshole. My husband and I have 2 kids together, 4 female and 8-month-old boy. After our first, I had a hard time losing the baby weight and was about 40 pounds overweight for a year after having her. During that time, my man-child of a husband struggled with porn and wasn't attracted to me. It took a lot of self-reflection and patience on my end to come to terms with this. I did lose the weight, and our sex life went back to normal. Also, fuck him. He doesn't deserve sex if that's how he's going to act, because you gained a little weight carrying his child.
Right, going through the whole thing.
Yeah, literally. Okay, I would have never had sex with that person again. Take note. I understand that sex is not an obligation in a marriage, and if I want to be intimate with him, I need to accept that he is a very shallow person and can't have sex with me if I'm not 120 pounds. Oh well, I can't relate to that mindset, but it is what it is. After the second kid, I was more conscious of this and bounced back a lot faster. Recently, at a family party, my sister-in-laws, both my husband's sister, who are pregnant with their first right now, were asking how I was able to get my body back after the second kid so fast. And I said it had more to do with how hard of a time my husband had after the first. They looked confused, and I explained my husband and I had a rough patch because we weren't being intimate after the first kid, because I had gained too much weight than he was comfortable with. The conversation ended there, and I had a nice time the rest of the evening. Well, the next day, my husband was invited over to his parents' house, where he was lectured about what a bad husband he is. His mom was apparently crying, and his dad said he was ashamed of him for how he was treating me.
Wow.
I mean, rightfully so.
Yeah.
Asshole. Absolute asshole. His sisters told their parents what I had said because it upset them a lot too. I'm a little annoyed they shared this, but that's besides the point. My husband is embarrassed and very mad at me for sharing this. We got into a fight about this where I said if he was embarrassed about his feelings of my body, maybe he should work on that. His sisters are my 2 best friends, so it's hard for me to keep things separate sometimes. But I do see how sharing this with his family could be a violation. I mean, it's the truth though. And like she said, if he's uncomfortable with that, that should cause some self-reflection, and maybe that's something he should work on. Because that's not okay.
Yeah, it almost didn't seem like he was so
selfish.
No, just like
Fucking
it almost
prick.
seemed like he didn't care who heard or who knew.
No, I don't know.
Or maybe, but
he cared when it came back and bit him in the ass with his
Right.
family. So it's like he obviously cared, but not enough to get over himself.
right.
Like he knows it's bad because he doesn't want other people to know, but also doesn't care enough to change it.
Right. I think sometimes in relationships, I feel like people get stuck in this mindset that they're in this bubble in this relationship, and anything that they say has to remain like inside.
Yeah.
It's never going to escape. And yes, there are things that you should be able to talk to your partner about that they don't
Stay
share.
between you.
But with something
Yeah.
like this, and especially when it's like criticism or, it's just like being an asshole.
Yeah.
And she's going to tell somebody about it. She's going to talk to her friends. Maybe it's the parents, however it comes
She
out.
has to vent to someone.
Right. And you can't always just be the guy thinking, oh, I can say or do whatever I want. It's never like that's the toxic piece here.
Yeah.
But rightfully so, it came out.
Yeah.
And it should. And the reason he feels weird about it is because he knows it's wrong too.
Yeah, exactly. Otherwise, why feel weird that she said the truth?
Yeah.
You know it's wrong. You know you look bad. You know you're a fucking asshole.
Right. And if you don't feel like you're the asshole, then own up to it. Be like, yep, that's what I said and that's what I believe. And then
Yeah.
yes, you are like
At least you're confident with what you said.
right.
You're
but
not being a
you're just
coward.
a bad person, but it's just like
Yeah.
yeah, I think it's almost poetic justice that it comes out this way.
Yeah, absolutely. She adds another comment. He is determined to overlook this and just focus on me being a bitch for sharing something like that.
Right. Flip it. Flip it.
Yeah, he's a fucking manipulator.
That's predictable, though. Like, that's not surprising at all.
Yeah, for real. So one of the top comments, for real. He's embarrassed because he's being socially sanctioned over his asshole behavior. Oh, fucking well. If you don't want people to think you're an asshole, maybe just don't be one. Mm-hmm. His sisters were right to be horrified, and good on them for coming together as a family and saying, we don't find this acceptable. That's how the social contract is enforced.
Yep.
I think OP should think long and hard about the fact that she had normalized his behavior to this degree, and she didn't think his sisters would react this strongly to it.
That's true, too.
Like one of these top comments, why are you still with him? He sounds shitty. Probably should have left after the first child was born. And I think that's something too, like there's not a big age gap between them. Like she's 32, he's 34. And this is something that gets brought up all the time in society. Like men get divorced and then go for someone younger because men have that social capital to where they can date so much younger, but as a woman, it's harder to date younger.
Right.
And then it's also these like, oh, she's a cougar. Mm-hmm. Whereas men, if they have a big age gap, it's not.
There's no word. There's no term.
It's not as frowned upon. Like,
right.
Oh, we're just kind of recognizing that age gaps are kind of sketchy, but there's no like social ostracization. Like there's no repercussions for that. And so this is a big red flag to me because we all age. We all get older. We all have wrinkles. We all gain weight. Being 120 pounds at 32 isn't realistic. Like I just saw this doctor talk on a video today and she said, in your 20s, you do gain more weight. We're in reproduction years. Mm-hmm. Some women are always going to have a belly. That's just what you need to be healthy. And it's your fucking uteruses and your body trying to have weight for childbearing.
Yep.
And it's like, if your partner doesn't love you, regardless of if you put on 10, 15 pounds, like, okay, granted, you put on 200 pounds, your health is at risk. That's a different story.
Yep.
But she just fucking had a baby and you're not attracted to her and you're making her feel like shit.
Yeah.
Why? Like, I just can't imagine staying with this person. Mm-hmm. That's so terrible. Because what happens when she gets old and wrinkly and gray?
Right.
He's not going to be attracted to her then.
Right. Well, and that's why you can't have, I just don't think you can sustain a relationship purely based on attraction.
Yeah.
Yes, most relationships start by attraction. You find someone attractive.
There has to be some
you
degree.
talk to them.
Of course.
And then it builds from there.
Yeah.
And I think over time, yes, I think in most cases you have the attraction because attraction is much deeper than just physical appearance. I think you can be attracted to every part of someone.
Someone's sense of humor, their mind, everything.
All the personality, everything.
Everything, yeah.
You're attracted to a person, and when you go down the road of committing to a life with this person, then you sure as hell must be attracted to more than just their appearance.
There's got to be more roping you in. And I think, especially in a long-term relationship, otherwise how do you sustain it?
Right. And it shouldn't be, especially after childbirth.
I know.
Like, especially after having a damn kid.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm a big believer in being attracted to the person over the appearance. I feel like I've always been that way. And it's just so sad because you see people get trapped in these situations. And then they are constantly trying to change themselves to help the relationship. They're essentially trying to change to save their relationship, and that's not what it's about.
No, and I mean, look at her. Like, look at what she probably put herself through after their second child, just to ensure that he was happy and that he enjoyed looking at her.
Not to get the comments
and so they would be intimate. And so it's like, it's just so sad.
Well, and I think it's hard too because you have everyone's standing around watching when celebrities bounce back after a couple weeks. And everyone's
Yeah.
like, and then all of a sudden that's applied to everyday people. And then you build up kind of this expectation like, oh, that's going to happen for me too.
Yeah. It's so unrealistic, and it's the media and social media and our expectations we have of women. And Blake Lively, I just saw a snippet of an interview she gave after one of her movies, The Shallows, where she was in a swimsuit in the water, shark movie, whatever it was. She had just had a child a couple months or like 9 months or something before that movie. And she was like, I worked my ass off to get in shape and look good for that movie. And I didn't want to work that hard because I wanted to be a fair representation of women and mothers. And my body wasn't the same as it was before my child.
Yep.
And I wanted to be true to that and recognize that. But at the same time, I didn't want to get bullied for being fat,
Right.
for not looking the way I should have looked. And so I worked my ass off. And she said something along the lines of like, it's this fine line being a woman of trying to, fit society's norms and be yourself and be happy and also not get picked on. And it's just,
Right.
I can't even imagine.
Yeah, especially when you're in the direct spotlight of it too.
Oh my God. And Blake Lively, like for a lot of people, she's, an icon, and
Yeah.
it's again, so toxic.
Yeah.
Yeah. OP comments a lot throughout this post, basically just saying like, people are like, why would you still have sex with him? And she's like, I honestly just shrug it off now. And like, hopefully his dad can talk some sense into him. And at the end of the day, like, that's kind of on her for putting up for it. And I think just like trying to make the relationship work.
It just kind of seems like she's going through the motions, but
Yeah.
how long can that sustain itself? And it's tough too, because now you have a kid,
Yeah.
2 kids.
2.
And so you look at them and think, well, and you hear about this way too much too, is what do I do? Do I do something that's good for myself, or do I stay in it for them?
Tough decisions. But at the end of the day, like, I don't know, time will tell. Like, if he wasn't attracted to you when, you had his child, how's that going to be down the road when
Yeah,
you get older?
for sure.
Because gravity takes its toll. We all age. And it's just have a partner that's going to be supportive of you no matter what you look like. And because we all have bad days, we don't stay the same. And but at least you won't have to worry about getting baby trapped.
That's true. That's very true.
Lucky in that department, I guess.